I think we're live. Let me make sure audio is doing, the whole audio thing. Let's see. Is it even refreshed? Oh, wow. Thank you, Travel, Time, and Space for you. You're so sweet. Gave me, or she, I don't know. They, we'll just go neutral. Gave me $2. I like dollars. Okay, let's see. Refresh. Come on. Do we have audio?
Audio.
Oh, yep. Yay. We are good. Let me just mute my computer for all the little pop-ups. And pull out this chat window. Give her 1 second just to get this going. Hi, Gail. Okay, I think we are set up. Just as a reminder, make sure that you do the Lachri Fine Art. If it doesn't highlight in orange, I'll answer your question. It's not that I'm just trying to be rude and ignore you. Although, sometimes maybe. Probably not, though. I actually do try to answer everybody's questions. Let's hit record now. So if I'm skipping you, it's not deliberate. It's just that I'm missing the question, and the best way for me to see it is for it to be highlighted in orange like that. So tonight I am starting out on this little sea dragon right here, who's adorable. This is a reference photo I had taken myself. All the coral from this painting and the photo of the cat Penny, these come from Tidal Gardens. Tidal Gardens is a coral vendor here on YouTube. Well, coral vendor in Ohio, but they have a YouTube channel here teaching you how to take care of your coral. Great channel. I was a huge fan before I met him, so I was pretty excited to get to meet them at Aquashella. But that is where these photos come from. And if you are looking for coral reference photos, if you are wanting to get into marine art, if you sign up, it's so cool. I'm so excited. Can you tell? If you sign up for his Patreon, it's like $5 a month. You get access to all of, gosh, he uploads, I think, like 50 a month of these type of coral, like super high. My camera's probably wiggling like crazy. I'm seeing it wave in the wind here. Sorry. But super high resolution coral photo stuff that I've never been able to find anywhere else. So I'm really, really excited about this. If you don't know this about me, I've been a marine artist. So I started out as a marine artist. That's all I did for the first like 10 years of my career. So I know it is hard to find good coral photos. So this is really exciting. And for me, especially as a colored pencil artist, because with colored pencil, I tend to want to put more detail than I would with maybe acrylic or oils. Not that it can't be done in acrylics and all, but that's just kind of the nature of colored pencil. I like to do the tiny detail. These reference photos allow for that. And there's a link in the video description if you are interested in getting these corals. Or you can buy coral from them too, but if you want these reference photos. Okay, let's scroll up and get caught up in a couple of these questions, and then we will get started. Baby Pandas 101 said, I've been looking forward to this all week. Don't forget to hit record. Thank you. I did. And I'm also glad to hear that. Joseph said, audio is live. And thank you. I am recording. I needed to tonight, too. Ursi says, I like the colors put into your cat art. Thank you. Arts with Ryan said, you are a art god. I didn't even read that right. Thank you. I can't read, apparently. Too bad I can't be a god of being literate. Can I trade? Diane said, this is beautiful. How long did it take you to do you think? I spent 2 days on the cat. So I did the start of the face that Wednesday night, but I didn't really get much farther than that. If I weren't doing the live stream, I would have probably been to that level on the face within maybe 30 minutes if I were just like focusing and working. And then I worked on this Thursday night and finished it Friday night. So it was only 2 nights. It really didn't take that long because there's really not that much detail. It's just a matter of paying attention to where are your darks, where are your lights. And then of course I hyped up my color saturation by pulling purples and reds and things in there so that she looked more shiny and not just gray. And that's the thing when you're doing pet portraits, if you're drawing, or even a human where you've got really, really dark hair, don't just jump to white as your highlight, because that's going to be gray when it mixes in with the brown or the black. And now it looks like the person is aged, or the pet has aged, or that they're dirty and dusty and haven't, washed their hair in a while. So by using blues and purples instead, we get that nice sleek look with still having the highlights on the black. And in this video, I would say she's a little bit more muted under this lighting than what she looks like in like lighting in a room that would be more like what I would display her under if she was for me. So let's see. Neil said, I love the colors you use in the cat. The fur looks so soft. Thank you. Yeah, and again, those purples and blues and all of those, like if you're painting or drawing an animal with black fur or a person with black hair, pull those purples in. It seems scary and it seems really weird. What's the worst that happens? You're working on black. If you put in purple or blue and realize, I just don't like this, throw black over it. Black's going to cover it. It's not like you can't cover it. So just be brave and actually do that. Okay. Now, what was I doing? Okay. Oh, I need to put up glassine first so that I don't get the oils from my hand all over the artwork. We want this to stay archival. So I need the oils from my skin off the work. And this glassine, you can get it for fairly inexpensive. A roll of this is not much on Amazon. Wait, I take it back. I've seen it where the roll costs like $40. Don't get that one. Get the cheap one. But a roll of that stuff will last. It lasts me for years, and I work a lot. I use it a lot. But it keeps the oils from my hands off the work, and it also it doesn't smudge. So let's say I get a nugget of colored pencil under the paper. It's not going to pick it up, like grip it. If I were using normal paper, sometimes it'll stick to that normal paper, and then when I slide it, that little nugget of color just made a line. That's not going to happen with this. So that's the big bonus of using this. Before this stuff, I used to use tracing paper, so I could still kind of see my work under. But one of the problems with tracing paper is if you use a lot of hand lotion like I do, those oils may still soak through the tracing paper, and that's not going to happen. This is more like a waxy paper. And this is pH neutral, acid free. It's safe to use to wrap around your art for storage. I do that actually in some, you can't see them up there. I don't know why I'm pointing. But I have some art storage boxes that I really need to do another studio tour with. But I will put sheets of this in between a lot of those pieces. Let's see. Joseph said, wait, you mean you aren't the Naboo, the ancient, I can't even say these? Patron god of literacy. Who knows? Apparently not, because I can't even read whatever you just wrote. Arts with Ryan said, do you intend to buy the new 36 color of the Derwent Lightfast range? I actually intend to contact Derwent and ask them to send them to me because I do video reviews and they know that I'll share them with you guys. So usually they'll just send me the supplies that I need to do those videos. I have a really good relationship with Derwent. I love that company. So yes, and if they didn't give them to me, yes, I would go buy them. I am so excited for those pencils. But I hopefully will they'll most likely, when they come available in the US, usually they go ahead and send them to me so that I can review them. Let's see. Tareen said, which I hope I did not say wrong. If I said that right, that is the coolest name, and I'm a little jealous. Amazing work. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Ursa, you said, are you going to do the color reflection of the coral to the sea dragon with illuminating light? So this is going to be my challenge. My coral is super, super, super busy. I mean, that is like a hot mess of all the colors. I need to now make this yellowish orange sea dragon stand out. So I've got to adjust that some from whatever my reference photo is to do whatever is needed to really make him pop. And that may require that I darken the coral behind him a little, or it may require that I make him a little bit darker than he requires so that he stands out. Now, the lighter color is going to naturally feel closer to the viewer, so I've got to keep that in mind. I've got to work through that. But based on where I have him in this art, he would be right next to the coral anyway, so it's not really that I'm trying to create depth there. But yeah, that's going to be a challenge for sure, making sure he stands out. PZ Cherokee said, I just listened to your colored pencil I can't talk. Hey, Lisa, I just listened to the Colored Pencil podcast where you and John were talking about summer drawing ideas. The word you guys were thinking of was candid. It was. That is. A few people have been like, was it this word? Was it that word? I'm like, no, that's not a word I would use. Candid is the word. Thank you. Wow, we're just going to hype up the fact that I can't do words tonight, huh? Or apparently ever, because we recorded that a couple weeks ago and neither one of us have thought of what that word was since. That's hilarious. Yes, that is the word. Thank you. Neil said, I learned to try different things and experiment with art from you. Yay! I recently did a tiger in a forest and was scared to pull green into the fur, but I loved how it turned out. That is really cool. A couple more questions and I'll get started. Blue Tea Art said, I need advice for lighting and recording equipment. I don't have a clue where to start. By the way, amazing work. Thank you. The lighting that I use to record, the light that's over, you guys, if I aim it up there, you're not going to be able to see anything anyway. But the light I use, it's from Amazon. I have a link in the video description, or I should. Hopefully it's there. That light is amazing. The only thing, and it's not even really a complaint, it's adjustable, but when I record, it's so bright that it kind of washes out, I think, a little bit the colors in the video. And so I have to try to remember in post-production to go back and edit that or fix those colors up so that they're more saturated. They're not as washed out as what you see on video. But other than that, for what I see in person, it looks amazing. I can see everything. Love that light. For they have the big soft light boxes that you can get. You can't see it. It's up there. I don't even drag that down that often because it's absolutely huge and kind of annoying to work with. It's just big and heavy. No, it's not heavy. Heavy is the wrong word. It's big and awkward, and I keep knocking it over. That doesn't really fit well in the studio. So I've lately, if I have to record in this room, I try to use natural light as much as possible because, you know, lazy. That one works really good. As far as what was the other stuff? Recording equipment. I really, really like my Yeti Blue microphones. I have 3 of them in my studio. I like them so much that I had gotten the one, loved it, got more. When I realized I should really have others around the room so I didn't have to keep unplugging and moving stuff. Those are great, great microphones. I've seen them on sale for as low as like $110, but I haven't priced them. I bought mine a few years ago, so they may be cheaper now. But I got those, I don't even have everything marked in where it needs to be on this guy. I got those a couple of years ago, and they're one of my better pieces of equipment. I've really been happy with the quality there. Trying to think what else is really good. My cameras, you can get away with just about anything now. Now, the camera that I first started YouTube with was this little I probably spent under $150 or right around $150. Maybe it was $200. I don't know. But that was back in 2012, 2013. And I used that that would have been around 2012. And I used that until I upgraded to this one in 2015. And I mean, this one I've been using for 4 years. It's 1080, but I don't even know. Or no, is this one 1080? I think it's 1080. So it's not the highest quality in the world. Like, it's not your 4K cameras. But honestly, I don't need 4K for, what we're doing. We don't need the most expensive. So you can really get away with these cameras that are not. This one, when I bought it, was like $950, almost $1,000. They're so much cheaper now. I wouldn't probably recommend paying that much more unless you were going for 4K. I don't know I hope some of that helps. Elaine said, working on me. I cannot read. I need to make font larger. Let's try that again. Elaine said, working on About Me page for my website. Lots of different ideas. Artist ones seem to be more informal and like talking to a friend. Business ones are more sales oriented. Any tips? It's really hard to get anyone to read those pages. And when they're too informal and like, here's the basic information, and I went to this school and I did this, and include if you want to include schools you went to, if you did go to school. But I mean, people aren't going to read them. Make yourself more interesting. And if that means being a little less professional, then great. It's not the 90s where everybody, like, I remember back when this would have been around 2000, 2001. My home answering machine was like, hi, this is Lisa from Lachri. You've reached Lisa actually back then I called it Water of Life Studio, not Lachri Fine Art. It's like of Water of Life Studio. And it did this business thing, and it was like, first off, no one's calling me on my home number to hire me for things. Like, that's not how they're going to contact me. They mostly would go through email even back then. But it was so like over the top. Everyone tried to be like, when you went to a website, it was, thank you for visiting our website. It wasn't it was mine. Why? We try to make ourselves sound like this big business, and it wasn't the best idea marketing. I mean, back then we didn't know a whole lot about individual brand marketing, and it being an influencer and all that wasn't a thing. So no one really knew how best to handle those sorts of situations. So we were all trying to act like we were Target or, Verizon. I don't know. We were trying to be all over the top professional, and it didn't really work at all. Now, I think being unprofessional, I don't want to say unprofessional. I mean, you don't want to tell people your life story, family drama if it's inappropriate. This is not pencil I want. What do I want? But, what color do I want here? I think I'm going to mix magenta and a reddish brown color. But you do want to include, you want to be entertaining. I mean, I wouldn't use a bunch of swear words unless that's part of your brand. You don't go that unprofessional. But yeah, I think you want to keep in mind, people are probably not going to read that anyway. So here's the challenge. How do you make it interesting enough that they will read it? Because if you go too boring and too professional, no one's reading that. Like I said, no one's probably reading it anyway. So definitely, I would say go more, a little bit more informal and more personal. Like you're talking to the person, you're telling them your story. A one-on-one conversation type thing is what I would go for. Oops, wrong mouse. I have 2 mice over here that look exactly the same for different computers. Oh, and now that one's wrong. Let's see who is next. TC Harrison said, can you wax bake. Can you use waxed baking paper instead of glassine? Can you use wax paper? Okay, you can, but that's not necessarily going to be archival. So the glassine is certainly a better way to go. Wax paper, depending on the wax, I mean, who knows what they're using it for, is probably better than nothing. So I get, it's a level of choose which is a bigger deal to you. But yeah, you could. I used to use tracing paper because I know that's at least pH neutral. I don't know if wax paper is pH neutral. So that would be a bit of a concern for me. But yeah, that was, it's better than just putting your hand on the paper for sure. Why is this moving as much as it is tonight? Oh, that's why it is. I've got a new stand for that mic, or I'm using a different stand, I should say, and it's wiggly. Maybe I won't use that one next time. Good evening, Rory. Lottie said, question about pastel mat. I noticed when you used it for colored pencils, sometimes the color seems to lighten after putting a dark layer, almost like it doesn't really stay really dark. Any advice? I wonder what pencils you're using, because usually when you see that, it's an issue of any paper. I didn't see it or see any trouble of that with myself with pastel mat, but I was working mostly dark colors. But even the dark shadows, I didn't have any trouble with. Usually when that happens, it's because you're using a wax-based pencil and that wax is kind of raising to the surface. So that's going to give you a completely different end result. It like raises, Prismacolor is what is notorious. So if you're using Prismacolor, there's your problem right there. If you're not using Prismacolor, I've only used it once and I didn't experience that yet. So I really can't offer you any advice. Maybe someone in the comments did and can give you a bit of an idea. Unfortunately, I've not used it enough to have experienced too many issues yet. Or fortunately, maybe. Viva said, I got the 12 set of Polychromos pencils as per your suggestion the other week. Really love them so far. That's great. I'm going to actually be doing a 12 set where the entire painting is done just with the set of 12 with the Polychromos really, really soon. So I'm really excited about this idea. I'm going to be doing a new series. I want to try to do at least one a month. And I've talked about doing it before. I just never really followed through. And now I'm just motivated and excited. And I almost started last night at 3 a.m. and decided I'll do it tonight after the live stream instead. But the first one is going to be for graphite pencils, but I want to do a lot of intro pieces, at least one a month. And I want to do limited supplies on a lot of those. So let's say, because one of the things on my Patreon, I teach a lot of different mediums. Well, what if somebody's only got their colored pencils, but they want to try acrylics, but they don't want to go and buy all the acrylics in case they don't like it? And I want to do a series where, and I say series, but I kind of just want to permanently do this once a month, rotate from one medium to another. And sometimes different mediums will, I'll end up with more than just the one medium eventually, or one video for one medium, but minimal supply. So maybe for acrylic, I'll do one with just black and white. So you only have to buy 2 tubes of color and 3 brushes, like pick 3, maybe Simply Sim, and something we can easily get on Amazon, and pick just the most basic materials so that people can try a different medium for hopefully not a whole lot of money, just to see if it's something that they're going to be interested in. Plus it would be great for beginners because it'll be a very basic lesson. So the first one is in graphite, where I've got the photo done. I haven't drawn it out yet, but it's going to be some succulent. It's a close-up of a succulent. And so that will give us a lot of practice with shading. So it would be like somebody's first time learning to shade with graphite. But I'm going to be doing a bunch of those coming up soon, including in one of the ones, because I want to do the minimal supplies, is going to be the set of 12 Polychromos, and showing people how you can get so many colors from just that set of 12. It's such a good way to start mastering where did this go? I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I think this goes here. I don't know. Colors are not in the right place at this point. And then you go here. Okay. But yeah, that's coming up really, really soon. Like I'm really excited to get started on those ideas. Travel time and space for you said, what do you use to edit your videos? I used to use, and I'm bringing this up because what I currently use is very expensive and a lot harder to learn, but I used to use Cyberlink Power Director. I don't remember what number I was on, 16, I think, 15, 16. That one is fairly inexpensive for what you can do with it. And that one I was pretty happy with. What I use now, though, is Adobe Premiere Pro, which is an amazing, amazing program, but it definitely, it costs a lot more, and it's a bit more of a challenge to really learn and get the hang of. So for a lot of people, that may not be their first choice or the best thing to get started with. So the Power Director Cyberlink Power Director, that's backwards. That one is a really, really good program. And you can get some of the older programs on like Amazon. You don't even have to buy the new one. Because one of the reasons that I switched from using that primarily or by itself, it does have some limitations, but they also changed to where they want people to sign up for a monthly like fee, like what Premiere does. And I'm like, if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go with Adobe. But you can get the older versions that don't get updated constantly like that. And that's what I used for years. And they really did work very well. So it's a good way to get started. But yeah, right now I use Adobe Premiere Pro. Ashton said, when I try blending with Gamsol, I often get weird splotchy patches outside of my colored pencil area I'm trying to blend. Is that a result of oversaturation or poor paper quality? It's a result of part is your paper and part is, yes, absolutely oversaturation. So there's certain papers, like if I'm working with, a big one is Stonehenge, because that stuff is super absorbent. If I'm working with that, I have to really work to not oversaturate my paper. Like that's a big deal with that stuff, to be careful to keep the odorless mineral spirits exactly where you want it to be. It's also extremely noticeable if you're working on any sort of colored paper, like even if it's not the Stonehenge. I've used some of the Canson Me-10s. If I'm using colored paper, it will stain that if you get the odorless mineral spirits or the Gamsol where you didn't intend it to be. So you do want to use a bit less in those cases and be really careful. It doesn't hurt the paper, but, you know, you may not want a big, ugly, splotch, oily mark where it wasn't intended. Oops, scroll too far. 1 second. Got that one. Sally said at Dean Sarah's, hi, if you start your post, oh, she's telling somebody, yeah, if somebody's having a hard time getting their question, you have to do at Lachri Fine Art. If it doesn't highlight in orange, I won't see it. And if you're having trouble getting that to work, if you ask one of the mods, they'll post it for you. Letty said, I'm using the same pencils as you, but I'm working on a light blue pastel matte. Yeah, you're going to get a different result then. I really, really like light blue. I haven't tried that on pastel matte, though. I haven't tried any of their colors, just the white paper, and I absolutely loved that. Dean Sarah says, I use Prismacolor. I'm only 10 years old, and any tips? Don't drop them. They break easy, so be careful with them. Don't push hard. You don't if you see how sharp the point of my pencil is here, with Prismacolor, I try to sharpen it a little bit. Do I have any in here that are kind of more dull? I don't think I do. I mean, this isn't a good example because it's not sharp, but maybe something a little bit sharper. Don't go all the way to the end. That's not the greatest example, but I'm not going to sharpen my Prismacolors quite as sharp as my other pencils. And I'm also going to use a very light hand. Don't push real hard with your pencils. So, and if you start by using a light hand, like what I'm doing here, you can build up lots of layers. Prismacolors are very waxy, so you are going to be limited on how many layers you can get with them. So you want to plan out a little bit more and not push too hard with those pencils too early on. Lots of light layers is my tip for you. Baby Panda said, how do you decide which colors to pull out to get the layering of each color you are going for so it doesn't look flat? I look at my reference photo, and I know that sounds way too basic, but I look at it and it's like, okay, I can tell there's going to be purple. I need to sharpen this purple. I can tell that there's purple or orange, and so I grab a pencil that's close to it. And once I hit the paper, if I'm like, wow, that's not the right color, I just grab a different one. It's just trial and error. And I know that's probably not the answer you're looking for. I mean, it'd be great if I had this amazing answer of, oh my gosh, here's the formula. It's just, that's not how it is. I just grab the pencil that looks close to what I'm looking for, and then go from there. And he's actually really outlined here. And I've missed. I'll have to fill in a little bit where whoops, you go that way. Let's see if I can erase some of that. Oh, I lost my eraser the other day. I have a bunch of new ones. I just need to pull them out. I don't have any over here. Doesn't look like it. So what happened here, which isn't a big deal. I don't really care if that line's there, but see how I pulled that black line where I didn't really want it. So what I can do before I blend, if I can find an eraser, where are they all? Hold on. I think I'm going to have to go grab one somewhere else. But I want to try to erase it. I won't get that paper back to white, but if I can erase some of it, when I do blend out, it's going to make it easier for me to correct that problem later on. I usually keep them over here, but I pulled one over somewhere. I don't know. Give me a second. Let me pull out one of the new ones. I've got a big unboxing video to do from Faber-Castell. Seriously, the biggest art haul ever of stuff they sent me. So it's their Faber-Castell Perfection Eraser, and just for transparency, they did send this to me because I'll be doing some review videos for them. But this is more like an ink eraser. So it's going to lift more than what a regular, like a Tombow mono eraser isn't going to quite lift as well. And it's got the little hairs on the back of the brush. So it lightened it. I can still see that mark that I didn't want, but it's going to be able to, I can cover it way easier than I could if I left that black there. So let's see. D. Lynn Creative Arts said, I honestly don't know how you manage all the things you do to help us learn, but thanks. Your teachings keep me inspired. That's good to hear. I'm glad. That stranger said, I was wondering if you have any sort of review or of any kind on water-soluble graphite. I've been seeing the setup of primary colored graphite everywhere, and it got me wondering. I don't have any colored well, what is colored graphite? I mean, I guess I do have the water-soluble, the Graphitint from Derwent. I've got several of those videos, but I also have a lot of just basic water-soluble graphite videos. I've got a couple of those. If you do a search on YouTube for Lachri and water-soluble graphite, those will come up. I've got a couple of videos of those. I really like that medium. That is fun to work in. Let's see. I'll just pull my oranges over here, make my life a little easier. And when I choose my colors, I've got a set of 150 or 120 of, like right now, just of the Polychromos. That doesn't count the fact that I've got my Derwent Lightfast, my Caran d'Ache Luminance. I've got all these other pencils over here. I just go for something close. If I'm like, I need a dark orange, find a pencil that looks like a dark orange. If I choose the wrong one, it's not the end of the world. Don't waste too much time. I can't talk. Don't waste too much time trying to find the absolute perfect color, it's not that big of a deal. Get your darks dark enough, your lights light enough. That's what's going to make all the difference in your work. Having the perfect color, not nearly as important as we like to think it is. We give too much importance to color. I mean, color matters to an extent, but our values, darks dark enough, lights light enough, that's what's going to make the difference in your work, not the color. So as I'm choosing colors, I'm like, I need an orange. Yeah, that one might work. It might not. Let's find out. Don't stress yourself too much about that. Rory said, have you used pen pastels? And if you have, do you like them for what they cost? Now, to be fair, they gave me my set to review. So I didn't pay for them. I don't remember what they would cost. I looked it up at one point and I thought that the price seemed fair. But I don't remember what they are off the top of my head now. I love them for doing a base for colored pencil and then putting the colored pencil detail on top. Absolutely loved them. The amount of time it saved. And I thought it was going to be more like real pastels. And it wasn't, because I don't like pastels. I don't like the feel on my hands. I love how they look. I think they're a beautiful medium. I am too neurotic about having my hands feel dry, and I just can't stand the feel of pastels. That's why I don't work in those or charcoals or any of those. But, okay, hold on. I'm missing things. This is black. This one is needing to be bigger. We've got a little skinny guy. I'm going to have to put some white first. What I'll probably have to do, because I missed a line, is use my touch-up texture titanium white. Oh, that's kind of working, to really make that pop, and then put orange on top, because I don't think that's going to stand out as much as I need it to. Kind of. I put white down first to make it stand out since I didn't save that spot. And I'm going to have to do that in a few of these areas where I've got outside of my line. So, like, if I need something to be bright orange and I've got blue underneath, there is no orange pencil that's going to be opaque enough to cover it. So I have to put white first. And I'll use my touch of texture titanium white mixture to cover that up. And then I'll go back on top. Like, even though I'm putting orange now, I'm still going to have to go on top with the touch up texture titanium white to get it to be the color that I need it to be. And then I can put the orange on top. Well, this is lifting enough of that. This may show up okay. Let's go with the darker orange here. And let's see. So we've got those three, you and you. Okay, got all of my spots in there. Let's see who is next. So yeah, I absolutely love pan pastels. I'd almost say whatever they cost, they're worth it. I love them that much. Baby Panda said, your new series sounds wonderful. Yay, I'm glad you like the idea. Kelly N Newman said, as somebody who wants to try a bunch of different mediums on a budget, I love the idea of minimal supplies videos. Oh, good. I'm glad that you guys like that idea because it's one I was super excited about. And then you start thinking, I mean, do people want to do that? So I'm glad to get that feedback from you guys. Let's see. Who was next? That question keeps coming. Oh, Dean, Sarah's, I've already answered that. If you missed it, just back the video up. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm caught up. Elaine said, very excited about the graphite thing you're going to start and other mediums. You've helped me to get back into art after many years, so grateful to you. That's so nice to hear. Thank you. Cassandra said, thank you for doing limited supply videos. I'm excited to try acrylics and oils, but afraid to spend money on a lot of supplies only to find out I don't like it. Yeah, I need to get some... I'm going to look into some different kits, too, like that we can use. Maybe if there's like a 40% coupon available at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that. I'll see what... I'm going to do some pricing. Or I kind of also want to keep it to where easily you could buy it on Amazon. Well, I'll have to see. I've got to see what's going to be the most budget friendly. But still quality. And that's the thing. As I still want it, like I will still use the Liquitex basics, but let's do like for acrylic as an example, but maybe just black and white, and you can add other colors if you thought that was fun. For oil paint, I'd probably do the same thing, a black and white oil painting, then you could add extra colors as time went on if that was something that you enjoyed. But yeah, I'm trying to think, I'm thinking out loud if you can't tell, of the ideas to be as budget friendly, but still leave you with something that's fair. It's quality. It's something that if you liked, you would still use. You're not wasting money to test it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad to hear that you guys want that too, because that makes me even more excited. Whoops, that's kind of shaped a little funny there. Which one is that? That is not the one I thought it was. That is definitely shaped wrong. Okay, see, this is where this pencil is really handy when I start talking and I'm not paying attention. Let's just lift some of that color that just absolutely doesn't belong. It's going to be easy to fix because that's a black line. This white line will end up being black. Well, part black, part white, but... Okay, so here, he's actually got a little guy that sticks out this way. That's going to be another one I have to use quite a bit of touch-up texture titanium white on. Where's my black Polychromos? Let's see. Juliet said, or asks, hi Lisa, any update on future watercolor pieces using a palette tubes, not pencils? Would love to see your experience. I don't have any plans right now other than I absolutely want to do it. That's the extent of my plans on that one. But I definitely, it's something that I do really want to do. That goes that way. We'll make this kind of... That's not quite right, but something like that. And I'll lift the other color behind it. But yeah, I've got so many things right now I'm behind on that I need to get done first. So right now, and I've mentioned this before, I'm working on a set of videos for Castel. So that's extra videos I need to do on top of my normal videos. So that's currently in the works. Once that's done, that should clear up a little bit. But I think by the time that's done, it's time to start getting all the stuff for the new house ready. So yeah, coming up soon. I'm not sure when that'll be, but I definitely do want... because the watercolor pencils I did not expect to like as much as I do. So I'm actually really excited now to try your, more traditional watercolors now. Again, I mean, I tried them when I was younger, but I didn't really like them that much. But now that I like watercolor pencils so much, I have a feeling that I would really end up liking regular watercolor tubes now. So I'm excited to try that, but I'm not sure when that'll be. Emma said, do I color in any coloring books? I don't, just because I don't have time. I think it's fun. The other problem that I have with coloring books is you're going to typically be looking down, and I can't do that with my back or my neck. I have a World of Warcraft one I really wanted to work on, but I just never get the chance. I guess I could do that at my easel, but if I'm at my easel, I need to be working. Like I have so much work to get done. Let's see. Lottie said, I feel like my work on the pastel mat looks great from a distance, but muted when I'm right up to the paper. I'm using your starfish photo to draw, by the way. I have not, it's another one I just haven't done enough to really know, or, I may have the same experience after I've done a few more. I'm curious to see how that goes for me. I didn't have any trouble with the roses, but I worked so large. I mean, it was kind of a close-up of those guys. So I'm not sure if that's going to, wait, where are you? You are here. I'm curious now to try that again and see if that ends up being a problem for me. If I were working like so large, I didn't have a lot of tiny detail on that. From what I saw, it didn't seem to have too many problems, but I also have the benefit of being able to use touch-up texture titanium white, or not titanium white, touch-up texture if I needed to. I could put the texture back into it if needed. This I'll go over with white to make stand out again later. So right now, everything looks just cartoony and like a hot mess. This will all work its way out. This is just starting to block in where the color is going to go. Will I ever use Copics? Probably not. They're not light fast, and they're just not a fit for how I work. Now, there are other mediums that I work. I mean, Inktense aren't all light fast. There are other mediums that I work in that aren't completely light fast, but I don't like those when I can use, like, I like the the Winsor & Newton pigment markers. I love those. I love how you blend them. I love everything about them. Copics were just, I never really got into them. And when I tried them, I wasn't very good at them, but I didn't feel like putting the effort into becoming, I mean, you can get good at anything. It's not like, oh, I'm bad now, I'll always be bad. But I wasn't interested enough when I did try them to feel like, oh, I want to buy more of these really, really expensive markers that aren't light fast. And it just didn't seem interesting to me. Viva said, have you ever done something stupid, like accidentally grow mold on brand new paints? Asking a hypothetical question for a friend. I don't know how you grow mold on paints. I've seen of people having that happen, and I have never once experienced it, so it may be a difference of the paint that you're using. I'm not sure how that even happens, but it's got to be a difference of the paint. So, because I've heard of people having it happen, but I've never seen it myself, I should say. So, no, unfortunately, tell your friend I have no advice, and I apologize. I hope you work that out. Mold sounds not like a whole lot of fun. Cavium said, I'm working on a model. Oops, there we go. I'm working on a model of a map from a game I play using popsicle sticks. I just got the biggest part of a building done. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's awesome. Letty said, would you ever consider doing a space scene in colored pencil? Not powder blender, but with OMS? Probably not. It doesn't. It's not that it can't be done. It's just that I have other mediums that work better for that. I mean, every other medium I use is probably a better choice for a spacing than colored pencil. Colored pencil, it could be done, but it's going to take so long. And that's one of the things I like about space scenes. It's such a fast thing to do. Colored pencil is slow. That doesn't sound like fun to me. I don't know. Maybe I'd change my mind. But right now, I'm going to say no, just because it doesn't sound like fun to me. I guess I could with the touch-up texture titanium white to get stars back in. That would be an option. But, I mean, I can see how it would be done, but that doesn't sound like fun. So let's go with, I would consider it, but probably no. Carlene said, but I said that about other things and ended up changing my mind, so there's that. Carlene said, have you ever thought of creating your own brand of art supplies? That's a huge, huge endeavor. I actually have friends who have looked into it, and it's... like, I have one friend who's an inventor, and she actually does come up with different, but it's products that don't exist at all. But having, like, your own brand of colored pencils, your own brand of whatever, seems like way more work than I have time for. I'd rather just use other quality things that already exist that I know are good. Now, I need to get a lot of pigment on here, so when I blend with the odorless mineral spirits, I get a nice smooth look. If you don't have enough pigment on your paper and you blend out with the OMS, it really doesn't do a whole lot. Like, it doesn't stand out. It just looks muted and ugly. Okay, wait, where does your head go? You've got your eye. Oh, this comes up, like, right at a point, so that blue doesn't even belong there. Let's correct that a bit. Let's lift. I don't even know why I have this blue. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of this. It's going to be light. And then it'll go to the dark like I've got it. So we'll go there. Pull in these light colors for his little triangle head. when you're drawing, you want to try to look at things as in terms of abstract shapes. It's going to be easier for you to form the correct shape versus I'm drawing a little sea dragon's head. Your mind's going to go, first, I probably don't even know what a sea dragon head looks like, but I'll make it up as I go along. Look at your reference photo and look at those abstract shapes to get a more accurate line. It may not make sense as you're working on it, but as you keep working, let's see, this comes down here. See, abstract shapes. When it'll all come together in the end. Jason said, the eraser that you got is great. Also, won't the seahorse blend more with coral? It might, and I may have to come through and just hype up the contrast. I may have to darken the coral a little bit, brighten him up, or do the reverse. Yeah, he's going to, and right now he's going to blend with everything because he's just muted all around. He's not bright or dark. He's just he's not good yet. But no, that's something that I'm going to have to work on or watch as I work through here. So yes. Kimberly said, when you teach drawing colored pencil or painting, do you explain how to move through the messy stage before it starts to look like what you're attempting? I mean, yeah, what I just did. It's just that it's going to look ugly, that it's normal to look ugly like this right now, and that you want to just keep layering until it looks good. Don't be afraid when you get to a stage like this and you're like, wow, that looks like it looks like toes, and it shouldn't look like toes. Why does it look like toes? Work through that toe stage or whatever ugly stage you're at, and you'll get there. But yeah, like right now, I have no definition, no contrast, no anything. Everything's just a blurred, ugly, like what in the world are you doing mess. And that's normal. You have to expect that when you get, in those earlier stages. Don't let it discourage you. And that's what happens to a lot of artists. They get very discouraged because they want it to look really good on the early stages. And that really doesn't normally happen. And he's got a lot of details that are going to have to go around these lines. Like there's just so much that he's going to get. So I'm pushing a little bit harder around my edge just because I want that to be really crisp. And I am really going to be depending on that touch-up texture titanium white on this. There are so many little spots that there is no way I want to sit there with a pencil and like circle them all and then work around them to keep the white paper. That sounds like a whole lot of not fun to me. So that is something that will come back through. So again, just going over everything, being kind of messy. I just want to make sure I've got a lot of pigment for this stage. And that's probably okay for now. I can go ahead and blend that and then we'll answer some more questions. Oh, did I not? Where did my brush go? Here it is. So whenever you're blending with the odorless mineral spirits, one of the things that you want to make sure that you do before you start, oh, I'm almost out of OMS. I'm going to have to refill that soon. Get your brush wet with your odorless mineral spirits and wipe it on your paper towel. Look at that, black. What I recently blended was that, and you can't always tell when you look at your brush. So if I wasn't paying attention, just dipped it and started blending, I would have just smudged black all over that yellow, and you can only fix, that's a challenge to fix. So make sure, clean out your brush first. This is really dirty. I actually need to pour some more odorless mineral spirits in my little cup, so I will be right back. Oops, and just spilled that all over my carpet. I got the best tip from Joseph, the Art of Joseph Fincham. I did not know this. When you pour the odorless mineral spirits out of, I guess it would be the same with bleach or anything like that. Certain things, when you pour them out of the jug, they want to kind of bubble. It just makes a mess. It goes everywhere. He told me, pour it like if your hole is on one end, pour it so it's flipped like upside down where the hole in the lid is. Because in my case, it's got a foil lid cover, and I just poked a hole in it and I just pour it out of that. But every time I pour it out, it kind of gurgles and it makes a mess. So pour it upside down, the opposite direction, so the hole is on the top section of where you're pouring out of. It doesn't make a mess anymore. And it's absolutely amazing. And I don't know how I got this far in life and didn't know such an amazing trick. So thank you for that, Joseph. Let's see. Go back out to some of these questions I missed. Oh, I missed a bunch of questions. Oh my gosh, scrolling up. Where? Oh my gosh, so many I'm missing. Okay, here we go. Vivian said, pen pastels are about $7, the little pan when buying them individually. I think they were, I want to say they were like $5 at Azel Art Supply. Was it $5? I went not too long ago. Well, when I first used them, I was looking at them there, and I think they might have been less than that. It may depend on where you get them from. Ursi said, now that the sunshine is out a lot, are you going to watercolor, pencil draw, Inktense, or watercolor paint sketching outside? That video was cool last year. I don't know. It's hot out there now. I kind of skipped the nice weather stage that I should have gone out and drawn. It is really hot. And I know I'm planning to, my backyard will be, have lots of trees and pretty things in it when I move. So next year, I'll have a backyard to go draw in, and it'll be a lot easier because I don't have to walk anywhere or drag out all my stuff. It'll be, at home. So I have those. I would like to do that. I need to kind of watch out for the next time we have decent weather so I can go out and make more of those videos, because that was so much fun. If you've never painted outside, it was, and I'm not a huge, I like outside. I don't like bugs, and I don't like sun, and I don't like heat. So I'm not prissy at all, am I? So I thought that I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I did. And I got those, Derwent had sent me those Inktense travel pans. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. Like, I didn't want to go home, but I had ran out of water for my little brush. So that's why I had to stop. But I definitely need to go do it again. It's one of those things, like, I can't get myself to go do it, but once I'm there, I love it and think it's the most fun thing I've ever done. So I need to just suck up being hot and around bugs and go do it. But I know for sure I want to set it up, or have kind of a setup, maybe a cart that I can roll outside. But I definitely want to, when I have my own backyard, be able to work out there. I thought I would work on my patio here some, but it's not very large. Like, it'd be hard to set up the camera and everything. And being that I'm up so high, if the wind blew something away, I really don't want to have to run down the stairs to catch my painting that might have, or something if it blew off. So that didn't work here for the patio plan like I was hoping. But I just need to suck it up, I think, and go out in the heat and draw here, because I did have a lot of fun that day. Like, it was one of the most fun times of painting that I had ever had, so I need to stop making excuses. Okay, JBC13 Art said, as an art supply hoarder, the idea of minimal supplies is very scary to me, but I'm excited for the series. You're going to try all the things. All right, you probably already have all the things. Rick's Artwork said, I was on the fence about that ceramic blade cutter before the podcast. Once you mentioned it, I bought it right away. If it's good for enough release, it must be good. Yeah, the funny thing about this is the cutter that everyone is talking about. It's like a little plastic blade. They say it's ceramic. I don't know. It looks plastic to me. It feels plastic to me. It has terrible reviews on Amazon. It's like 3-star, less than 3-star, because it doesn't cut paper that well. It cuts, but not that well. That's what it's intended for. For us with colored pencil, we don't want it to cut the paper. That's great. But you can kind of scrape up. It works better. Let's see. It's not really going to show up on any of these areas. It worked really good here on this coral down in this area. But if you've got a dark area over a light area, you can pull up just the most subtle little details, and it's amazing. It has to be the right color combination. So, like, pulling off, like on the cat, I tried it on the cat and it didn't work that well because I have a dark base on everything. But if I've got a light base, I might be able to do it here. No, that's a dark base. If I have a dark color on top of a light color, it scrapes, you just lightly scrape up those details, and it works so well. But it's got to be the right color. I already did it on this, so it's not really doing anything. a little bit here. It's so subtle. I'm not sure if you can see those little lines I'm throwing in there, like the skinniest little lines. But again, it works best. I don't know if you can see it, tiny, tiny little lines, which is amazing. Like that's hard to do with colored pencil. So to be able to use this, but for me with blending with odorless mineral spirits, if I blended dark first and then put light on top, then that may work. Or if I blended light and then dark on top, that works. But if I kind of go dark and then kind of more darks and think I'm going to pull light back up, there's nothing for it to pull up. I'm only revealing more dark. So you want whatever color is as your base color to be almost opposite of what color you have on top, and that's going to work the best. But this thing is, I'm really liking this. And it's fairly inexpensive for a new fun toy. Let's see. Nick said, I'm guessing your plain artwork will increase once you have the new house. I think so too. I think just the fact that I can go, the dogs can be in the backyard with me. I don't have to like pack up, drive in. You know, I can be at home and still outside. I need to get a lot of stuff planted first though, because that backyard comes very basic, like wall, grass. That is all. I'm going to need some trees and plants first. Blue Tea Art said, I love Faber-Castell. It's one of my favorite brands. I own most of their products. Yeah, I'm so excited about that box. Like, I need to do that unboxing because, oh my gosh, some of this stuff, I didn't even know some of this stuff existed. I'm like, how did I not know about this? Vivian said, did Faber invite you to Germany too? No, I would not be able to travel even if I don't travel. So that's definitely not in my future. Like, I really don't like to travel. I can't travel far because on the plane with my back would be a nightmare. Miriam said, hi, Lisa. Did you see that Hobby Lobby has some other Liquitex acrylics on clearance? Yeah, I bought some. I haven't been back, though, lately. I need to go check it out, but I bought a bunch when I was there last. Cassandra said, can we paint a purple tiger? Limited supplies. That would be cool. I need to see what colors are included in the 12 set. I actually don't know. We're just waiting for this to dry so I can go on to my next layer. Steve Anthony said, no creepy wind chimes today. They're not creepy. They're beautiful. No, it's not too windy. They're all hanging up, though. Isn't that funny how some people find them to be creepy and some people are like, it's so peaceful and happy sounding. Like, it's such a funny thing to me that, like, the same sound can have such a different reaction to two different people. That's funny. Let's see. Letty said, I think I meant the pencils become very matte on pastel matte. No pun intended. I don't know. I mean, they come matte anyway. Like this, ow. I just punched my easel. I'm so graceful. But this guy's really dull looking to me on this under this light. If you try it under different lighting, it might be. I don't know. I just can't speak on it too much because I've only tried it once. So I need to try some more colors and see, but I don't know. It looked rich to me. I mean, it didn't feel that much different than other paper. So I don't know. But it's hard, I think, to have too strong of an opinion on something when you've only used it once. So my opinion may not be that valuable just yet. I'll get there. Artistic Marker said, I heard that if you use walnut oil, it may result in mold on the painting. Really? Interesting. I don't know. I've never used walnut oil. I mean, it would almost, I mean, once it's dry, it shouldn't. Because it would dry. I don't know. I can't help. Kimberly said, when you teach draw... Oh, I did that one. Do you explain? Yep, I talked about that. What do you think about oil painting paper? I've never tried it. I don't like... I mean, okay, so I could use... Like, I have my words are hard. Frederick's. My Frederick's canvas pad. If you tape it like I do here onto another board, that would definitely work. So as long as you're taping it down along your edges, that would, like, I know that one would work. So I would assume oil painting paper, I'm sure, is primed, so it should work. Diva said, saying touch of texture titanium white 5 times is quite the tongue twister. It's a tongue twister saying it once. I get it wrong half the time just once. Julia said, I've actually done Galaxy Scene with wolves and colored pencil. It was a smaller piece. It was pretty fun and came out nicely. I've seen people do amazing things with that. I know it can be done. I just don't know if it sounds fun to me. Let's see. Letty said, will you do a snake and colored pencil at some point? I saw a really nice one that was one of our Patreon photos. I also have a pet snake. Yes, definitely. We have the green, was it a green viper? Is that a thing? Green tree. It was some kind of a green tree python? Green tree. Is that what it was? I don't know. It was beautiful. I know that they're really poisonous too, so you don't want to be giving him kisses. But my husband also really, when we move into our house, one of his like things that his dream animals, he really, really wants I think he wants a hognose snake is the thing that he's like most worked up about right now. So I'm sure I'll end up painting him. Andrea said, do you ever think about painting a freshwater scene? Like planted tank looks. I love your videos. Sometimes miss them, but always catch up. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did the beta, so it was technically a freshwater scene with him. But I would like to do some of those, the way the lighting is, because it's completely different the way that you would do marine with the green. You would have more green and yellows and that. So yeah, I actually really like the idea of doing some more freshwater stuff. I just don't have a lot of reference photos there. I mean, I guess I could go look them up, but I'll have to look into that. I want to paint some freshwater angelfish. I love those guys. Dean said, how can I blend better with colored pencils? I'm not sure better than what. I don't know where you're at right now. So, I mean, odorless mineral spirits is one of my favorite ways to go. That's what you saw me blend with here. More light layers. I think if I remember right, you were newer. So more like really light layers. There's several ways you can blend. Like actually, let's do a quick little demo of all the blending ways with colored pencils. Let me grab a piece of paper. It has a lot of graphite on it. You'll have to ignore it. So one way to blend is just to continuously keep your pencil sharp and just light layer over light layer over light layer. And see, I'm kind of going in different directions, little circles, and you can just blend and blend and blend that way. Another way is to do what we call burnishing, where you push hard and see how I'm getting that smooth look. And I can take another pencil and push hard there and see how they blend. That's one way to blend. Now, the problem with that, it looks beautiful, but if you do it too soon in your work, you limit the amount of layers you can put on top of that. So when you burnish and push hard, make sure you know that's what your final layer should look like. But that is one way to blend. And then, of course, the other way is to take your odorless mineral spirits, and then you can go right over that. And you don't have to burnish first. You can just blend with odorless mineral spirits and blend that way. So those are three ways. Another way would be, let's say, we'll take one of my wax-based pencils. So this is the Luminance. And this method works best with wax-based pencils, not so much with oil. With oil, they seem to work best if you just blend with themselves. But that was the Luminance. And if I take my full blender bright, and I think you said you use Prismacolor, so you would use your Prismacolor colorless blender for this. But I can push on that and essentially burnishing again. And so this is blending that way too. I actually like the results that I got with Prismacolor and their colorless blender better than the results I get with Luminance and their colorless blender, which is their full blender bright. But those are all some methods you can use to blend your pencils. Blue Tea Art said, do you think after the horrible ending to Game of Thrones, do you think that that would make George R.R. Martin to write the next book? I hope so. I hope that he does get off his butt and gets that done. I mean, how long has it been, though, since the last book he wrote? He seems like he kind of was just riding that, like, the train of what he already accomplished and not getting, maybe too much work went into making the shows. I don't know, but I don't have a ton of faith. Like, I'm not going to read any of the books. If he finishes the whole series, I will go buy every single book of that series. Well, audiobooks. But otherwise, I'm not even going to bother because I don't trust him to finish them. I hope he does, but I don't know. He seems like he's gotten kind of like lazy. I don't know if I'd say lazy or just bored with it or what, but it's like it's been so long since he wrote the last one that if I don't trust an author to finish a series, I don't really want to start it. And I don't trust him to at this point. Lori said, is the video how you did the cat and the left side of this? They are already on Patreon, but for YouTube, it will be all together. It'll be a lot faster on YouTube, a much shorter video. That won't be up for probably a few weeks at least, before I get all of that together. But they're already on Patreon. I already answered that. Carlene said, have you ever tried doing a portrait painting using acrylics? I hope you can show us techniques in this video. I have. It's not my favorite. I mean, I've done it. I don't have any on me I can show you right now. It can be done. I probably should go ahead and, it's not my, I'd so much rather do it in oils. Oils are just so much easier to do with portraits, but it can be done and look just as beautiful with acrylics. I definitely need to do a video on it. I've had enough of you guys request it that it's definitely, I think, something that would be helpful for you guys. So yes, I will be doing that. Stephanie said, is there a state? And I think, see, this is what's funny because everyone will ask me if I will do stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm never doing that. You ask me again a month later. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it. I just had to think about it some. God, I'm like my dad in that a little bit. Every time you ask him something, he's like, no. He comes back 5 minutes later. And he's like, that's a great idea. But yeah, I think that's one that I'm going to end up doing. Let's see. Stephanie said, is there a tape that works best with certain papers? I find that the blue painter's tape rips up when I remove it. It definitely depends on the paper, but my favorite, do I have it over here? I don't have it on my easel. I don't know where, oh, here it is. This is the tape that I'm using. It's, if you can see the inside of it, it's called Artist Tape or Pro Artist Tape. I'm not sure if the Pro comes before or after the tape, like the chicken and the egg thing, but this is a pH neutral tape. And so it comes off really easily. Like it's got some tack to it, but I mean, it's really easy compared to regular masking tape. So, and because it's pH neutral, I don't have to worry about it causing damage to the paper. So that's what I use. The blue painter's tape and regular masking tape, unless it's a paper that I'm going to be doing like a lot of airbrushing or a lot of water media, then I probably won't go with this. If I'm going to use like watercolor pencils, I'm going to go with regular masking tape because it's going to stick better. But otherwise, I'm going to go with the black. Now, if you have a hard time and it's ripping your paper, you can take a hairdryer to it and heat it up and slowly lift that. Actually, some of you guys gave me that tip. That's a good one. But the heat will help to lift that, to release that, the binding, the glue there. Let's see. Thanks, NSGWW. Does baby oil work? Technically, yes. I 100% do not recommend it to any fine artist. It's not archival. It's going to damage it's not intended for art supplies. It won't ever really dry. So you go to put your next layer and it's not a good option. There are a lot of problems with using that. And if you are a crafter, if you're just doing crafts, cards, that sort of thing, go for it. If you're trying to do fine art that's going to be archival, don't use baby oil. Don't do that at all. Whoops, not scroll too far. Andrea said, yes, freshwater angels are beautiful. I love those guys so much. Nick said, you forgot my favorite blending method, powder blender. Oh my gosh, how could I forget that? I'm just looking around at what I have here. So that's another way to blend. It requires you to purchase another set of materials. This stuff is called colored pencil powder blender, and you apply it with like a little sponge. It only works on sanded paper though, sanded or gestoed paper. You wouldn't use it on like this paper or watercolor paper. Well, this is watercolor paper. It has to be sanded or gestoed paper. So it requires a very specific way, but this stuff is amazing for blend. And I'm not going to go through the details without showing you tonight, so you can just go look that up on. I've got videos for powder blender that you can go look up if you're interested in that. Patty Picasso said, is OMS similar to Zest-It pencil blend? Local art shop doesn't have OMS. I've heard that it was. I've never tried Zest-It, but I from what I understand, it's an orange scented, kind of a more of a natural like paint thinner type product, and I've heard people had great results with it. I've not personally used it, so I can't really do the comparison. I probably should order some. I'm hesitant because I don't think I'm going to like the smell. But yeah, I've heard great things about it. So it should be similar. How similar? That I can't tell you because I've not tried it myself. But I have heard good things about it and a lot of artists that used it. Especially artists who are like in the UK or outside of the US, because I guess that's a little bit harder to find in the or outside of the US. What colors do I want to throw on there right now? Maybe more purple. Ray said, do you have a brand preference for masking fluid? I have Winsor & Newton masking fluid. It's what I've been using. And I also have one by Frisket that I've not tried yet. So I don't want to like give it my badge of approval just because I own it. But I have it. I need to test that one out. But Winsor & Newton's the only one that I've used. And it's the one with the yellow tint to it. I've had pretty good results with it. I have heard of people who got bad batches though, but I guess that could happen with any of them. But I liked it well enough. I need a red. Or a pinkish red. Nope. That'll work. Knocking my eraser down. When I go to look for it later and can't find it, just tell me it's under my feet. Travel said, have you ever done colored pencil on canvas or canvas panel? I have not. The few little splotches I tried, I wasn't impressed with. It's too rough. But I didn't like give it a serious go, so I can't say. Thanks, Kyle. Cal said, if you're having a good time watching, please like and share this video. It really helps out the channel and helps people find it. Yes, please. That it makes such a big difference for the channel, just the way YouTube analytics work. If you like and share any video that you watch that you like, you will help that creator so much. The share button is a big deal to YouTube, because even if you share it on your own, like say you share it to Facebook and you're like, none of my friends or family like art videos, it still helps me because YouTube's like, oh, someone shared it. They must love it. We'll let more of her subscribers see it. Because one of the things that YouTube does now, they really don't share our videos with our subscribers that much anymore. And so it really, it hurts view-wise. I mean, the last few years, it's really made a difference. The videos that do the best on YouTube are like drama videos, which I really don't do. So, because drama videos get more people commenting and sharing and talking and that conversation going. And so they do really well just based on what YouTube's current analytics are. So yeah, if you guys can share, comment, like, all that fun stuff, that really helps me out. Have I heard of Chelsea Lavender Spike Oil and other? I don't know about that specific one, but I have tried other lavender paint thinners and oh my God, they made me sick. I couldn't breathe. Like, it made me feel like my chest was closing up. It really affected me negatively. And it's like, it's all natural and organic and it's healthy. Yeah, okay, lots of things are natural that I don't really want to breathe in, and that was definitely one of them. I had a real bad reaction to that lavender. Arcel said, what do you think about oil painting? Okay, I answered that. Oops, scroll too far. Zested is a UK product, so it's easier to get in Europe, at least before Brexit. Oh, there you go. Jen said, can you do a new marine acrylic painting soon? I am. I have a new, it'll be another surreal one, so a scene coming out of a scene, but that's probably, okay, I'm going to do that intro to graphite first, and then I think that new acrylic marine scene is next. Zested comes in odor captions as far as I know, but I'm not 100% sure. Teresa said, I bought Zested from Amazon. Took forever to get to me in Canada. I do like it a lot. I'm not sure if that's Canada or California, because we use that. I mean, I'm from California, so when I see CA, my brain says California, but that might actually also be Canada. Do what Carlene said, do you this cat you're painting personally? I don't know the cat personally. No, this is my friend Than from Tidal Gardens. This is one of his cats. He's like a super cat person. He loves his cats so much. Like, he posts photos. It cracked me up the other day. He posted a photo of these shoes that had cats all over, saying how much he wanted to wear those. Like, he is super, like, his cats are his babies. So this is one of his babies. Nick said, lavender is definitely a love or hate scent. It's funny because I don't really care one way or another too much about the smell of it. It's that my lungs were like, nope, that's a big fluffy nope. We don't like this, so we're going to close up and not let you breathe anymore. There's some freaking temperamental lungs. So now I'm starting to build up a little bit more of this contrast, and it doesn't even matter to me. Like, in the photo, that's more orange. I'm putting purple. I don't care. I care about my values. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. That's what's going to matter here. And I really want my darks to even be darker than what my reference photo has. That's going to look better too. At least in this case, because I really have to work now on getting this guy to stand out. That's going to be the real challenge. And I've got the white dots that I'm going to put in, which will make a huge difference, but I need to get some of these darks a lot darker first. This has probably been one of the funnest colored pencil pieces I've worked on in a really long time. I am loving those corals. And it's so funny because for so many years, it was like, if I wanted to draw corals, I did them in acrylics. But now that I've got these photos, I'm like, colored pencil is so fun for this. Kimberly said, that cat is so convincing. It's as if the fish she's watching came around the corner. My mind is seeing the cat move. Can you explain how one can plan movement in art? That one's harder to explain. So the movement, to me, I mean, movement, now I think you're talking about looks like the cat's going to move, but it's just getting things to look fairly realistic, because I think your brain automatically wants, they look at it and they're like, that's a real cat's going to move. And I think that that's really where that comes from more. If you can capture that cat and not make him look stiff. Now that's the thing. A lot of people, when they paint animals, their movements are too stiff. The lines are too straight, or they don't have the depth. So like their darks aren't dark enough, their lights aren't light enough. It's very neutral. And when you look at that, your brain isn't looking at and expecting it to move. If you can make the cat look realistic, if you can get those darks dark enough, my colors aren't correct at all. I mean, it's a black cat, but I've got more reds, I've got more purples, I've got more colors than what that reference photo calls for. But if I get the values correct, your brain looks at it and goes, I expect that cat to move, so I see that kind. It's just getting those values, getting an accurate drawing. Of course, that's make sure your base drawing is accurate. That's going to make a huge difference. But if you can draw something that looks really realistic, your mind wants to see it move. It expects to see it move. And I think that's where you get that type of movement. Now, there's another type of movement when you talk about art where it's kind of the flow, the movement of the piece. Like it's a different type of movement. And in that case, it's just finding a balance and kind of seeing where do your eye, well, you can't see the whole thing, but it's like, where do your eyes move? So I think this clownfish over off to the side is going to stand out a lot once I get that in. So that's probably one of the first things. I'll probably flow this way, but you're pulled back up to the cat's eyes, back down. I mean, you've got the curves and such. So you've got the movement of where does the eye naturally flow on the piece? So that's another term of movement. And that's just that I actually find it easier to control or to design the movement in a loose sketch. You can kind of come up with movement and then draw your subject around that flow that you're going for. But as far as having your eye or your brain look at something and expect it to move, that's just by get those accurate drawing and then get your darks dark enough, your lights light enough. That's really going to be the trick there for that type of movement. Where did I get the board for this drawing? Was it a stencil or did you freehand it? It's based off of, probably, I think I got it from Graphic Stock, which is Storyblocks now. Pretty sure that's where I got this one, but it's not exact. It was just based off something I saw there. I wanted to just have, going back to movement, I wanted this flow that kind of came from the bottom, separated the coral from there, but I wanted the movement to curl back down. So that's, again, going back to that movement, I needed a curve. So I could have done a straight line, but the problem with, if I had done a straight border here, it's going to pull your attention off the canvas. I wanted something that pulled you back down and in, and so that's why I went with a curve. When SG said, I'm a super vividly visual individual. Gosh, say that fast. And I totally saw you and your lungs having a disagreement in my head. It was a big disagreement. It lasted for a couple of days. Because every time I'd open that palette, I could smell it, because I used my normal oil painting palette. It was a Smart Art Box project. And every time I opened my palette, my lungs were like, nope. That's a big nope from us. Let's see. Viva said, have you ever had brushes with ornate carved handles? I've been dabbling in carving for my own fun. I would not use them. I would hang something like that. That would be a cool thing to hang on the wall for display, but I don't think I'd be comfortable using something. That sounds too fancy for me. Blue Tea Art said, that like button is mocking me. Should I hit it? Yes, please. You should definitely hit the like button. Unless you already hit it, don't hit it again. It just wants to be hit once. Zara said, have you tried I'm saying that wrong, colored pencils? I have not. Wait. Unless I had a student bring them in and I hated them and just ignored it, which I kind of think might have happened. I've not. It's not something I bought, I should say. But that means I haven't given it much chance, but I don't know much about them. Elaine said, I wake up in the middle of the night saying light's light enough, dark's dark enough. I know I say it so often. You guys have to have that stuck in your head. That is too funny. If you watch, especially my Patreon videos, I think that gets said every, 30 seconds or so. It's the main thing you want to focus on because everyone's always so the colors aren't there. My colors aren't right. It's not the colors. It's your values. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. I just said it backwards. So now I'll really screw with you on that one. Let's see. Josephine said, hi, Lisa. What are your top 3 tips to start selling your art? eBay, I think, would be top 1. I think it's just a really good way to get started. It doesn't cost much. I mean, it's the fees that they take if they sell, I think, are pretty fair. So yeah, eBay is number one. eBay and Etsy. I mean, you can try Etsy. I didn't have great results with Etsy because Etsy's filled. It's supposed to be handmade stuff. It's not. It's mostly like crap from like mass-produced crap from China. It's not even good crap. Even with the artwork, half the stuff on there, it's hard unless you know the seller you're looking for. It's really hard. The handmade stuff gets so lost in the crowd of all the mass-produced stuff that's not technically supposed to be there, but Etsy won't follow their own law rules. So whatever. Side rant there. So that would be my first one. Another option is to try on Craigslist. Let's say you're a portrait artist. You can post that you're offering a service, that you offer, custom portraits or whatever. That's something that you can try. I actually found a lady who posted on Craigslist herself that she was looking for an artist, and I responded that way. She had something custom she wanted done, and I was able to show her samples of my work, and we came to an agreed price, did all that. So that's an option. But as far as selling, be realistic about your prices, but also don't sell yourself short. I see people who do work, they'll spend 80 hours on this freaking amazing work, and they're like, $100. Can you imagine working an 80-hour work week and making $100? You wouldn't do it. So, don't sell yourself too short, but also be realistic. Are you a newer artist? Is your work worth that much money? You kind of want to balance that out. That's a bunch of random tips. There's more than 3 in there. Imagination Art said, I am artist on a Walmart budget for supplies. I've been using a small bottle of Dialer, whatever, I can't say that, low odor thinner from Walmart. Hey, if it's working for you, it should be fine. That should be like archival. You shouldn't have any issues with that. But if it works for you, I've never tried that one. Now, when you say low odor thinner, as long as it's an art supply, if it's the Daler Rowney thing, whatever brand that is an art supply. So you'd be okay. But don't use like a paint thinner from the hardware store. Not the same. Let's see. Lottie said, which Audible book are you on? I'm addicted to the Last Kingdom series by Bernard Cornwell. The Netflix series is sensational. Oh, I'm going to have to look more stuff up. I just finished The Heart of Something by Lisa Edmonds, I think is the name. The next one comes out in a few days. Yay. Or like a week. What am I listening to now? I'm not impressed. I'm not too far in it, and I think I'm going to return it because this is my funny rant. So what is this called? It's called... Oh, go back. Show me your name. Why can't I see the name of you? Oh my gosh, I can't work my phone. User error. Realms of Ghosts and Magic by J.S. Malcolm. It sounded like an interesting... I like fantasy, that sort of thing. Sounded interesting, and I'm going to give it a little bit more of a chance, but it kind of killed it for me. Last night I was listening, and... I mean, okay, I understand people don't understand the use of ironic and don't understand the definition, Alanis Morissette. And I can kind of understand where people misuse the word ironic in place of coincidence. I get it. It's wrong, but I can kind of get it. My problem was this author. She's talking about the girl went upstairs to turn on the news, and ironically enough, she went upstairs and turned on the TV, and ironically enough, the news was on. What? Not only is that not ironic, it's not a coincidence. She's using these filler words, and I just lose so much respect for an author who uses filler words that like have nothing to do. Like it doesn't even fit in that sentence. You're just using it to sound smart, but you really made yourself sound like an idiot. Now I'm like, well, the rest of the book's probably going to suck because I'm still at the beginning. But it was such a weird, like it wasn't even close. It wasn't even a matter of not being used right. It was a matter of no possible misunderstanding of the word ironic fit in this situation. It was like, why would you turn the news being on TV at 10 o'clock be ironic? There's nothing ironic. There's not anything coincidental. Like it was the weirdest use of filler words that had, yeah. So I'm apparently way too picky, but if an author does something like that, I don't have a ton of hope for their skills otherwise in the rest of the book. That kind of like when authors, it drives me crazy when an author says, I could care less. No, it's I couldn't care less. You're an author. Your job is words. Like mine is not words. I screw up words all the time. But it's I couldn't care less. That is your job. Understand how words work. But yeah, that one always gets me when an author gets that sort of a saying incorrect. And when they do it over and over and over again, you're just like, please stop. So yeah, I guess I'm one of those picky people. I was going to use another word, but it probably would have got me demonetized. Let's see. Random rant there that had nothing to do with art. So Miriam said, the sea dragon looks almost like he could sit on your shoulder. Of course, Chicken wouldn't like that. Chicken actually is really good. I'm surprised how well Chicken does with sharing space with Nugget. Because I would have thought Chicken would get all jealous. He's not. He actually does pretty good with that. Nugget's the one who gets all, this is my space. I'm sitting here. You go away. But Chicken's pretty, I think Chicken would share with a sea dragon. Chicken actually likes to look at my fish tank too, which is adorable. Nugget hates the tank. Chicken really, really seems to like to sit and watch the fish swim around. Which is adorable. Nugget's like, just nope, and flies off. He keeps, because the tank is right next to the room where his cage is. So he every time my husband brings him near the tank, he looks at it, he's like, nope, and he flies into the other room. He's funny. Imagination Art says, I know you play World of Warcraft. Do you play any other RPGs? No, I really try not to even play Warcraft much because I have too much work to get done. But no, I don't. I tried. What are some of the ones I tried? I played Aeon for a while. I actually really liked Aeon, but then none of my friends were playing, and I didn't like the PvP level, or you trying to do anything, and you'd have someone who was like the highest level trying to kill the lowest level who's just trying to quest, and that was annoying. And Aeon claimed their big thing was it's not going to be gear-based. It's going to be, skill level and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't. It was so gear-based. It was painful how gear-based that game was. Compared to everything else I've ever played. So that one I played for a while. I liked it until, like, the PvP I didn't like in that game. What was the other one I tried? Final Fantasy. I couldn't get into because it was so much based on storyline, and I don't care about storylines that much in games. I just want to go kill things because apparently I have violence issues. But I didn't... I wasn't getting that. I didn't play Aeon for that long. It came free with like a computer or something. I don't remember why I had it. It came with something I bought. So that one didn't do anything for me. I just wasn't having fun with that. It was so slow moving and just not what I was looking for. Like I said, though, I'm not looking for a storyline in a game really. So that makes sense. If you like the storylines, which a lot of my friends do, then I'm sure Final Fantasy is amazing. It looked beautiful. It was a beautiful game. But, oh my God, if they told me to walk one more location to talk to somebody else only to walk back, I was like, this is not fun to me. I don't want to just walk around. So that's pretty much all I played as far as those go. Andrea said, your videos are very informative and really funny at the same time. Well, I'm glad you think so. PZ Cherokee said, I also don't understand when people say you want to have your cake and eat it too, or you made your bed, now lay in it. I don't understand these. Well, at least those are being used correctly. Those terms I get. Basically, the idea of wanting to have your cake and eat it too is you want it both ways. You want to own the cake. You want to like have it, own it. It's sitting on your table and you can admire it, but you also want to eat it, in which case you no longer have the cake because you ate it. That's kind of that one. And then what was the other one? You made your bed, now lie in it is, you done screwed up, son, deal with your problems. So you made your bed really badly and your sheets are hanging off in all kinds of crooked, weird ways. Now you get to lay in it because you made that, you made the mess. Now it's your thing to deal with. So those two ones I get. Dezorian said, hi, so I kind of went on an impulse shopping spree the other day and bought a bunch of oil paint brushes and some mediums, but found myself terrified of trying anything I need to know. There's a video that I did. If you go and look at Intro to Oil Painting, I think it's a green apple. That one's going to walk you through really step by step what you need to know. It's easier for you to watch that for sure. Make sure you clean your brushes, right? That's a big one. But yeah, watch that video. That one will walk you through your first project and it breaks it up so that it's pretty easy to tackle. Just look up Lachri, apple, and oil painting and it should come up. Those terms. Let's see. Kelly said, welcome to my life as a professional editor. I consistently wonder how some crappy books get published when talented writers are rejected. Exactly. It makes no sense to me. I read these and I'm like, how did this get past it? Like it's got an editor listed. So an editor read this. How did no one catch this? There's actually some of the audiobooks that really get me too. Are when you can hear chairs moving in the background, you can hear people talking in the background, and you're like, how did nobody catch this? Let's see. Kenan said, I just launched my art company and started accepting commissions. Do you have any advice for a college student trying to market cheaply for more work? Social media. Social media is such, and I don't mean run ads on social media. I don't know that I believe those are super effective. I'm almost tempted to run an ad on Facebook to see what kind of results I get, just so that I can then go and tell you guys not to waste your money, or maybe to waste your money. But because I've always been super determined not to put money on Facebook ads, because I don't like how they double dip on, we want you to, we're going to put ads on your content, so we're making money from that, but we want you to pay so that people see the content that we're then going to put advertisements on. The double dipping really gets me, but I'm almost curious to do it just as a video that I can tell you guys like how it went. But anyway, let me know if that's something you think I should waste my money on. I'll do it for you guys. But social media in general is a really good way to go. If you can build up your social media following, that is probably, I think, one of the best ways. Social media, and then let's say you said you're trying to get more commissions. Who do you know? Let's say you're doing pet commissions. Do you know people who are in dog groups? Let's say you have a friend who has an Iberian hound. I'm speaking from experience. I can paint that person's Iberian hound. She now can post, look what this person did. She painted my dog. Here's a link to her thing. I can't do that. I can't go to the Iberian hound group and post it. I'm spamming then. But a friend can take that. I can do it as a donate, for free, just to get that kind of feedback. Ask the friend, here's the agreement. I will do it for you, but I want you to go to every Iberian hound group and show off this painting. Show people what I did and send them back to, show them where you got it so they can hire if they want their dog painted. That was an effective way for me to go. And you can do that with, like, especially if you've got friends who have horses, that would be a good way to go. If it's a parent group, like you're doing human portraits, you can, if you've got a friend who has a kid who's in groups on Facebook that have kids, they can do a portrait of their kid and then show, have them share in their mommy groups or daddy groups or whatever group they're in, share in where they got it. But that's a really good way to get that started. Have a website. That's a big deal. And you can do a free website from like Wix or Weebly or any of those. You don't have to do the super expensive, although I do like the better ones. There's definitely bonuses to having a nicer site. But get at least a free site going and have your prices. Have your prices based in this medium. In graphite for an 8x10, this is my price for one portrait. If I put two portraits in that same size, that's really going to be little. I don't recommend doing 8x10 with two people. But let's say you did. Here's my price for two subjects in this medium. And break it up by medium and how many subjects and what size it is, what your prices are going to be. Have that before you start pushing it, because if people look at your stuff and you don't have a price list set up, they're probably just going to assume you're too expensive without ever asking. You lose a lot of sales by not being upfront and like, here are my prices. You are probably going to be a lot cheaper than they're expecting. Let them know that. Advertise those prices. So if you can get your friend, your friends in, let's say, the Iberian hound group or whatever breed dog group, have them sharing those. Or even, let's say, there's like a Furbo group. I have a dog camera for I can watch my dogs when I'm not home. I'm always home. I don't know why I think I need to do these things. But let's say I want to, I could have a friend who's also got a Furbo who's in that group, paint her dog. It could be a mixed breed. It can be whatever. She posts in that group. Now, here are all these other pet owners who are going to see that and be like, I want that too. You can get some commissions that way. Miriam said, your aquarium is chicken's TV, like parents sticking their kid in front of a TV. Oh, if only he'd stay there for long, though. That's the thing. He likes to look at it, but not like for very long. He gets bored and wants to walk off. But the fact that he looks at all, I thought was cute. He's not that entertained. What SGWW said, my daughter laughed at your Final Fantasy comment. Did she have to walk all the places too without getting to do anything? Because that was my experience with Final Fantasy. Walk over here. No, walk over there. Let's see. Imagination Art said you should try Monster Hunter. It's not much storyline, and you just walk around hunting different creatures. I'm not looking to try more games. I'm actually looking to play less, because I do play, I used to play Warcraft a lot. I don't have time anymore, but I actually kind of want to stay away from, I don't want to get addicted to another game. Like right now, Warcraft's not super fun. It's actually kind of boring. So I can log in and play for 20 minutes right before I go to bed, just to kind of wind down. And then, or like after the live stream, I'll probably log in and do some dailies, but I'm not like hooked on it. So I can then stop and go do actual work. So yeah, I'm not really looking to get into more games, just time wise. I used to love playing all the time, but then I realized real life was kind of, making real life money is more fun than making game money. Who knew? Paying bills is more fun than you thought it could be. Kylie said, I love your live streams just as much for your random rants as your artistic content. Love it. Thanks. I'm glad because I'm bad at keeping rants down. When SGW said, or don't cry over spilled milk. Have you seen the price of a gallon of milk? I think that's supposed to be not to be upset about something. It's already happened, so don't get upset about it. Like you can't do anything about it. I think that's how that goes. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. Could be. I just don't drink milk. And then mine would be more fitting to say don't cry over spilled tea. That's what I spill a lot of. Water. That has nothing to do with what that comment means. Carlene said, I'm confused with the orange guy. What is he? He's a, right now, whoa, that color is actually really accurate for what I'm seeing. He's a sea dragon, a leafy sea dragon. And he's going to have tons and tons of spots on him. So in order for those spots to stand out, I need his coloring to be a little bit on the darker side. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. So when I come back through, yeah, I'll have time to do spots tonight. Actually, let's go ahead. And we'll probably do spots a little earlier. Let me blend this. And then I'm going to let that dry for a second. And actually, I can work on tiny details. Once this dries, we'll do the touch-up texture, titanium white. You'll see what I mean by the spots. It's pretty amazing. Actually, I need a lot of black in here before I put the spots. So I guess I should pay attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. Now I'm pushing pretty hard with this pencil because I'm not going to have to layer a lot on top of it. The thing that's going to stand up on top are some of those white dots. Whoops. Oh, that scrolled too far. I had one from Elaine. Elaine said, I saw a YouTube video that said even a $30 boost is effective. Oh, so for Facebook, maybe, I don't know. My issue with Facebook is I don't want to give money. I don't like what the company's done. I don't like a lot of choices they've made. I don't like their business practice of, they need to make money. They need advertisements. I get that. But they're double dipping. They're like, okay, so YouTube is like, we're going to put out, you're going to make content and we're going to put advertisements on it and we're going to give you some of that cut. Facebook's more, you're going to make content, we're going to put advertisements on it, and then we're going to charge you to let the people who followed you, who said they wanted to see this content, share. It's like that, just that double dipping it's for the principle of it is the main reason I've not done it. But I also kind of think I'd like to do a video and let you guys share with you what my experience was. Maybe do a video like promoting Patreon and see how that does, and do a video promoting paintings for sale and see how that does. So we can kind of let's see in real practice for an artist what results we get. I don't know. But I hate the idea of giving Facebook money just because I really do not like their business practices. I don't like their, as far as their privacy policy, there's so much that they've done where yet I use it. So I guess the fact that I even use the platform makes me a huge hypocrite. There you go. Let's see. Imagination Art said, FYI, Color with Claire is having a giveaway for Derwent Lightfast Color 2. Okay. Kenan said, thank you, fellow North Texas artist. Appreciate it so much. Ah, nice. What area are you in, Kenan? Where is this? Nikolai said, spill the tea, sis. Eric Draw says, why does it have to dry if it's pencils? Because I put odorless mineral spirits on it, so it gets the paper wet. So I need that to dry. That's what has to dry. The pencils themselves aren't, well, I guess they're wet. The paper's wet, though, because of what I just did to it. These aren't exactly the right shape, but they don't really need to be. They just need to be close. See, in this fin here, I'm going to have to make white so that I can put orange on top. Actually, a lot of these I'm going to do that with, which will look weird at first, but it'll look better in the long run. Sharpen that pencil a bit. Okay, what are you? This one and this one. So he's also going to have some clear fins that I'm going to have to, let's see, you've got a little lumpy guy that, whoops, broke that tip of that. It's going to go in there. And no, it is not possible for me to do this without narrating. And then we're going to go over here. My brain thinks it needs to say these things out loud. I can be working by myself and I still do the same thing. Okay. It's got a shadow in here. It's kind of a little bit bumpy. And I can put a lot of these details after I get the white. Okay, let's start putting some of the white in now. That should be pretty good. And like, I'm going to have to define, you can see here areas where like, see how that coral, I've got a white glow around it almost. I've got to fix that. I'll have to come back through anywhere where there's color between the coral and this guy and make sure that's nice and clean. So what I'm going to do, hopefully I have my materials over here. I probably don't. I need to go hunt some stuff down. Where did I put them? One second. I need to find my paintbrush. And my little lid, which should be sitting right here, but apparently is not. Okay. So what I do, I use these little condiment cups, and you can just reuse them over and over again. You just rinse it with water when you need to clean this product. I've got a Synthetic Hog Hair #2 liner brush. These are the cheapy little Hobby Lobby. They're generic ones. I love those brushes though for liners. They're some of the best. What I've got to do first is, let's see, not powder blender. I need texture and titanium white. So this stuff, it's a powder, and it comes in this little, like, looks like a mineral powder makeup container. And then I've got this stuff it comes in what's like a nail polish jar, and I want to shake it really well. I don't know if you can see, there's like stuff at the bottom. I need to shake it until the stuff is no longer at the bottom. That has to be mixed in all the way. I just used this the other day, so that's actually mixing. Normally you need to mix it a lot longer than what I just did, but I mixed it long ago, so it's pretty good. And I'm going to pour a little bit of this product. I don't know if you're able to see it, but I'm just going to put a little bit. I don't need very much. I typically make more than what I need, but just like, I don't know if you can see that without spilling it, but just a little bit of that. And now I'm going to put a few drops of the liquid. We're just going to pour some in there. Now, if you put too much of this, you'll make the mixture too translucent. But if you don't put enough, it's too thick. So you kind of have to balance. If you find, I feel like it's like when I mix my hair bleach. When you mix too much of the powder, just add more liquid. If you mix too much of the liquid and it's like it's too thin or too runny, just add more powder. Go back and forth. But don't mix a lot is the point, or the main thing here. This stuff isn't something where you can just put a lid on it and keep it for later or add water. You don't want to add water. It won't be archival anymore. This is the only product to get white highlights on colored pencil that is going to be archival. Acrylic paint, not archival. You're putting a water-based product on top of a wax-based product. Gel pens, not archival. The only thing that's going to be archival to put on top of these is this product is made for this. So this is why this was a game changer for me with colored pencil when this product became available. And so with him, I need to, actually let's test this because that dot may be too big. I probably should use a #1 brush, so I just barely want to let it touch. Get his little dots. Now, if I get out of control and realize, oh my gosh, you put too many dots, you had way too much fun, slow down with the fun there, I can just put colored pencil right on top of it. This adds tooth to the paper. So even if it's an area that I burnished and pushed really hard, I'm going to get pencil to stick back on top. Imagination Art said, I think it would be cool to see a day in the life of a video. I'm definitely doing that. I'm tempted to wait until we have a house though, because like everything from doing my makeup, I'll just bring you guys along for the whole thing. I'd probably make it the longest video in the history of videos. For like the full day. I should just do it like a 24-hour live stream. But that, I'm kind of tempted to do it in the new house just because the setup will be easier to do than in the apartment, like with the cameras and stuff. And then we'll see. If I wait that long. I mean, maybe I could just do one here and then do another one there. So these dots are a little bit bigger. I'm going to push a little bit harder to get bigger dots. The harder you push, the thicker your line is going to be. If you want a teeny line or a teeny dot, just barely let the brush touch the paper. Now, a lot of these lines, it's okay if I'm too bright. I can always go back on top with pencil. And these are little dots right along the bridge of his nose there. See, and this is a whole area that I missed, so I can just come through now Do that with the white over the dark. Man, I really missed a lot right in there. Nick said, I found that keeping the touch-up texture bottle on its side mixes the white sediment easier. You're right. I noticed that too. That's a really good tip. Is hashtag Lachri live still going? I use it. I follow it anyway. So if you guys want to use it, I get to see your work. I'm selfish. That's all I care about. I just want to see your work. Rick's artwork said there needs to be a MMO for artists. Mana based on colors, classes based on medium used, light good versus dark evil. Are your lights lighted up? It has a lot more meaning in that game. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Let's see. Miriam said, you probably already answered this, but do you put a fixative on your colored pencil art? No. Well, the only time I put a fixative is if I use powder blender. Then I use, there's one made for that. It's called Final Fixative, I think. That's the one that I use. But if it's just like this will not have a fixative on it because I did not use powder blender. And so like that line that I just did, I'll put yellow over it and it'll come out really bright. And then I'll put a shadow on the opposite side. Actually, if I just leave what's dark there now, that may be dark enough for that shadow. But these little dots, there's no way I would get these tiny little things with the pencil. It wouldn't really show up that well. And that's where this product is just a lifesaver for me. I can be messy and don't have to be perfect, and it's okay because this can fix anything I'm not super clean about. Before, what I would have needed to do if I wanted these white dots to really show is work the pencil around and let the white paper show through. That would be nearly impossible on something this size. So I just avoided subjects like this with colored pencil. I know I don't have to, which is pretty nice. I feel like it really opened up a lot of doors for me and like ideas of things that I wanted to do with colored pencil that I would just avoid before. Nick said, okay, I answered that, or responded to that. Where were we? What is the highlight paint called? Need to get some for colored pencil drawings. It should be in the video description. If not, I need to add it. It is called Touch-Up Texture and Titanium White. They're two different products. If you go to brushandpencil.com, you can find them there, but you can also order them on, I know Dick Blick's website. They're in, depending on what country you're in, they're available in like, I think it's Delta Art in Canada. It's Blick here in the US, Jackson's Art Supply in the UK. I forget what it is in Australia. Oh wait, no, that line actually goes back here. And so see, I'm able to kind of fix some of my lines where I was like, that wasn't quite on where it was supposed to be. And once I go over it with pencil, you won't even notice that it was a problem before. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the white more so that I can have a bright, bright orange stand out there. Now, if you are looking to enter competitions through CPSA, if you use this product, they consider it a mixed media. It's not a straight colored pencil at that point. So keep that in mind if you're entering, if that matters to you. For me, I just care about making my work look cool, so I really don't care. But I know some people like to enter those shows, and so that's something you want to keep in mind. So these white highlights, these little lines I'm doing right now really don't stand out, but I'll come back through with shadows later. And that will, let's see, this comes almost down to here. Let's mark that off. We'll put some little dots where it would be sparkly. See, this mixture is already starting to dry. Kyle said, I'm ready to follow you around like a pro. It is going to be the most boring day in the world for you to record that. Patty Picasso said, can we come to the housewarming party? That would be fun. But I'm a little terrified because I'd be afraid people who weren't like you guys, people who are more stalkerish, don't necessarily want them knowing where I live. I'm a little paranoid. I've had some scary comments from people that I'm like, oh, thank God they don't know what my address is. I'd be afraid they'd show up. There are some angry people out there. Kylie said, I vote for a practice day in the life of video where you are now and another in the new house. I may have to do that then. PZ Cherokee said, has Alexa reminded you to clean your airbrush yet? It's been a week. No. When was the last time? Oh, yeah, that's dirty. That needs to soak. I'm probably going to have to soak that one overnight. I don't usually have to soak overnight. I can usually just soak it for, you know, an hour or so, and it's fine. But this one has been so long, that's going to need a good soaking. I don't think about it till I go to use it and it's clogged because I'm irresponsible. I want that to be a brighter orange, so I'm just going to put white in there. It's not that it'll stay that light. Oops, scrolled too far. Ah! Nikolai said, if you don't come out with merch saying, are your lights light enough, your darks dark enough, what was the point? I'd buy the whole collection. You know what? I'm going to change that. I just said, maybe I'll do that tonight. I wanted to reach, so I made the current, like my merch is right now has the Lachri Fine Art. I made it because I wanted that sweatshirt. That's what I made that design for. It's for me. But it's probably, I knew when I made it. It's not something most people probably want. I wanted it for me. But now, oh my gosh, that is genius. I love that idea. I'm going to change my merch stuff probably tonight. I'm really liking that. You are a genius, sir. Randy said, hello, I was wondering if you can use this white with a dip pen by chance. You probably could. I'm not sure which would be more effective. I've never tried it. I would imagine you could. That needs to be outlined with black. And then this body looks a little bit segmented in through here, so let's get little lines. We don't need them exact. Close is good enough. And those all come back through with yellows. Blue Tea Art said, have any experience in illustration? Not much. Not enough that I was any good at it. I mean, I've had to do a few illustrations for people over the years. Because when you get started with art, you'll do anything that has to do with art just to make your bill or pay bills. So I've done a few things, but I don't have enough experience that I really would give much advice. Although I've had people claim my artwork's not fine art, that it's illustration. So I don't know. I guess depends on who you ask. Some people claim using an airbrush means it's not fine art. D. Lynn Creative Arts said, if your new home has trees where your future rescued greyhound will run it, expect to see rings around the trees. My gray has created her own little track around the trees. No, right now there's no trees. It'll just be grass and fence. So, but I'm going to be planting a lot. So, but the trees that I'm going to be planting are going to be kind of along the wall. Crepe myrtles are my main thing that I want to plant. And those will be set back further along the edges of the yard. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty excited because that means our house should be done in about 6 months, which means in about 6 months, I get to get my greyhound. I'm really excited. And it's even better because before that's the breed that I was going to get as my next breed once, because I've got my Italian greyhounds are a lot older. So when that sad day came, that's kind of how I made myself that's how I cope is what's my next dog going to be? If I can kind of focus on that, it's not as traumatizing when you lose your little buddies. But now, once we get to the house, I can have 3 dogs at the same time. So I don't have to wait until one of them passes before I can get the gray. Which seems like a more positive thing. Understatement of the year. Because I really am excited to get a big greyhound. We already did all of our adoption paperwork. They did the home visit here, but I don't know if they'll want to do another home visit once we move. But we were all set. Oh my gosh, so many dots in the body. Okay, I have to start separating these little lines. Let's start getting these in. And these I'll have to take kind of a lavenderish color over. This looks really weird at this stage. This is definitely an ugly stage. Where did that go? When SGW doubles it, I totally buy that merch. So, okay, I'm definitely going to work on that. That's such a good idea. Why did I not think of that? It's something I say so often that I'm like, people must hear. It's funny that you say you are hearing it when you try to sleep, because I do say it that often. Leslie said, hi, Lisa, I just got the additional Lightfast pencils, expanding the set to 72. Have you got those yet? I can't recall if you did a review on them. Not yet. Usually, or at least what they did last time is they waited until they were released in the US, and then they sent me some to review. So I don't have them yet. I'm really jealous of you guys who do. I've heard nothing but good about the color, so that's good. The Derwent Lightfast, the ones I have, they're actually sitting next to me. I've been using that a lot on this piece. Those are such amazing pencils. And one of the things that I love so much is that they pretty much came through. So like they released the Pro Color, and artists were like, what in the world? Why would you not make these Lightfast? Like, you call them Pro Color, so that implies that they're for professionals, except like half the pencil set almost isn't Lightfast. And Derwent's response to that was, here's a set where everything is Lightfast, and we focused on that. Like, I love that they listen to what artists want instead of certain companies, Prismacolor, who's just like, this is our product that we're making, take it or don't. Like, we've been complaining with Prismacolor about quality control issues for how many years, and they've not done anything about it. And so I really like that Derwent's like, oh, this isn't what you wanted. Let's give you, what are you guys looking for? We'll go ahead and make that for you. You gotta like a company that wants to create what the artist wants instead of telling you what you should like. This is getting hard because my stuff is starting to dry now. I have a feeling what I'll do is come through and tint a lot of these yellow and then pull even highlights on top of a lot of that. Okay, we've got dots that have to come in between the lines too. Oh my gosh, he has so many spots. Like, I can't even imagine trying to leave these blank with the paper showing through without this product. It is really getting thick and starting to dry though, so I probably won't finish those dots on this time around. But I've got a lot of them in there. Okay, I'm going to go rinse this brush before I ruin it. I will be right back, and we'll get caught up on some questions. And this just needs to be rinsed in water. Ow, box that I just tripped over. That was my Faber-Castell haul that I just tripped over. We should do a day in the life of an artist apartment edition and then another homeowner edition one. That's the one where I'm panicking because that's scary. Buying a house, that's a lot of bills. I'm a little bit panicking about that whole thing. Nick said, not cleaning up afterwards is my main reason I haven't tried acrylics or oil paints. Yeah, oils you can get away with not cleaning up for longer. Like, I can forget to clean my brushes till the next day, and I can usually save them a little bit easier than acrylics. I don't know if that helps you. Susan says, FYI, purchased my brush and pencil titanium white from theartshop.com in Australia. Okay, cool. Theartshop.com. No, theartshop.com. Yeah, that's what it was for this product in Australia. Oops, scroll too far. There we go. Nikolai said, your review made me invest in the whole Luminance set. Any tips? Loving them so far. No real tips. They're just an amazing pencil. You know, they're all Lightfast, so I love that. Really good for blending and layering, and every technique I've tried with Luminance, beautiful. They're just a good pencil. I don't have anything specific. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything. If you can narrow down a piece of advice that you're like, I could probably help you there. Oh, I know one. For storage, you can't really see it over here, but there are these 3-drawer wood pastel boxes. I love these for storing my pencils, so I can easily pull them out. Move that out of the way. Like, here's my one for the Luminance. So it's just a really easy way to store all of your pencils. And if you just do a Google search, I got mine from Jerry's Artarama. Those work the best. Or they had the best reviews, and I've been happy with them, I should say. But those ones, if you look, 3-drawer pastel box is what those are called. And it's funny because you would think, advertise those to colored pencils, our artists. Like, say that they're for colored pencils too, but they list them as for pastel. But they're perfect boxes to store any colored pencils in. So I've got 3 for these colored pencils, and I've got 2 more for my Winsor Newton pigment markers, which I really need to use again soon. Kimberly said, I'm trying to see, is the lavender showing under the white lines? If not, why lavender? I don't see lavender showing up, but I'll have to put lavender because it calls for it on this guy. So right now, and what you're seeing, I'm not really going to get a chance to do anything else on him tonight because this needs to dry completely. Like, it's dry to the touch, but it needs to really cure. If I don't, actually, I can stop recording. If I don't let it set for like 10, 15 minutes and I put pencil over it, sometimes it'll chip off that white. If you let it set for longer, it's not coming off. It'll stay. It is archival. It's permanent. It's great, but you've got to really let it dry. So I'm not going to get a chance to do that tonight, but I've got to come back through and add extra lavender. There's a lot of detailing around these lines. So much detailing. I'll post on Instagram when I get him done. Oops, that scrolled too far. Again. Josephine said, my dad said that art isn't a stable job and that I won't make any money off it till I'm dead, but I can't imagine working with anything else. What would I say to him? God, so many answers. Some inappropriate, some not. I understand where he's coming from. It is hard for a lot of people to make a living as an artist. And for me, like it works out good because I love to teach. That's like, it's fun teaching is as fun to me as actually creating the artwork. So that's a good way you can go where you have a bit more of a stable income if you can teach versus just selling the artwork itself. Yes, you can absolutely sell your artwork while you're still alive. That's not really, necessarily the thing, but it can be a lot harder to have a stable income doing that. So maybe teaching art and doing art, that may be an option for you, something that you want to look into. You can, there's plenty of artists that do make money off of it, but it's kind of like, I think, being a musician, like if you're just trying to sell your art and not teach, that seems to be a little bit more like being a musician on, you may or may not get that. There's so many musicians who never make it to the point where they can make their whole career that. It is hard. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think if you can teach in addition to like local classes, teach kids classes, whatever, that's going to be a way that you have a more stable income in addition to selling your work. So that's kind of a nice happy medium that maybe he'd be more comfortable with because you are, like I said, you are teaching, and you can do where you're teaching. You can go a lot. Okay, keep this in mind. I know so many people who are like, I'm going to go to college for art because I want to teach college art classes or high school art classes. There are a limited number of those positions available to teach art. So that can be a little bit harder to get into. But teaching your own classes, teach at like a local art supply store or, something along those lines, that may be a good option for you. It's definitely a way that you can have a more stable income while still painting, while still drawing, while still staying within the art realm of things. Because for me, originally I was thinking just to focus. I've been teaching for 20 years, but I thought eventually I would just focus on the art. 1, I would miss teaching. I love teaching. But 2, it's very hard. You don't know if you sell a painting that month. And like, if you're going to buy a house, that's kind of scary. So maybe consider, talk to him about the potential of being a teacher in addition to doing your own artwork. That may be a good way to go. That's rolled. Where we go? Yeah, Ursi said, I like that day of the life edition of the house. Dominic said, what did you name your new fish? Are you enjoying their company? He's gorgeous. His name is, I wanted to name him Edward, but actually Kyle, one of the moderators here, and my husband were like, no, that's lame, because my husband was like, it looks like a vampire. So I thought Edward Cullen was great. They said no, they were thinking more like Lestat. Kyle is at the end of the video, the poor guy who had to deal with me choosing crabs and catching my fish. That's Kyle's the moderator tonight. So him and my husband, they decided that Lestat seemed like a better name. So I named him Lestat Colon. So he's still a colon. He's still a lame vampire. But although my husband lately has been calling him the nope fish, because when you walk by, he doesn't do it so much with me as my husband, because he doesn't associate my husband with food. So when my husband walks by, the fish is like, nope, and swims into his cave really fast. And he thinks the way his face is shaped looks like a nope fish. So my husband calls him nope. But yeah, that is what his technical, what I named him was Lestat Colon. I'm a dork. I know it. Molly said, I am a 15-year-old artist who is wanting to make art a professional career. Do you have any tips for me? Love this piece. Thank you. You want to make it a professional career. My biggest tip for you, master your art, get really good, practice all the time. If you've got a free 5 minutes, draw something. If you're sitting there watching TV, spend that time sketching in a sketchbook. Non-stop draw things. The other thing, I mean, you're 15, so right now you're probably not going to get into that too much, but start working on your social media presence. Be appropriate on social media. 15-year-olds tend to post some stuff they wish 10 years later they hadn't posted. But learning marketing, reading blogs or vlogs on marketing, learning the marketing side of thing is going to be a big thing. But right now at 15, I would say your most important thing, draw non-stop. Just you have free time, that's what you're doing. You keep a sketchbook with you all the time. If you're with your friends and let's say they're at a skate park, sketch them skateboarding. If you're at lunch, sketch the trash can. Whatever, just sketch things, draw nonstop would be my biggest tip for you at your age. Really, really perfect your skills. Blue Tea Art said, is George R.R. Martin Prismacolor, is George R.R. Martin Prismacolor new owner because of how they don't listen to fans? You're so hung up on Game of Thrones. Takes years to do anything, and the older ones were better. That is a good comparison. That is totally a good comparison. Valerie said, thanks, Lisa. This is so much better than spending my evening in front of the TV. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I have fun too. Thank you guys. Seriously. Thank all of you for joining me. This is like so much fun to sit and do. I also want to thank the moderators for helping. Nick and Joseph, they both have art channels here on YouTube. Links are in the video description. Kyle has an aquarium channel that he never uploads to, but you can still subscribe as a thank you. Maybe someday he'll upload. So thank them too. They help me so much. But thank you guys for joining me. Let's see. Oops. One SGWW said, I have my master's in social work. I'm going to school for art so I can combine it and do art therapy for women with PTSD. That is amazing. I had a student years ago who did that. She worked at a boys' home with troubled kids. And that's what she did. She had gone and gotten her degree to do art therapy. That is definitely, I think, an amazing way that you can combine art and still have, a stable career on top of helping people. What an amazing, that's a really good way to go. That is awesome. PZ Cherokee said, do you think your husband would make an appearance in your Day of the Life video? Absolutely. I would make him be in that video. I've threatened him several times to put him in videos. He's just like, nope, don't want to do it, but he would have to be. Boz Art Painting, Drawing, and Gunpowder Tutorial says, will you ever have your husband... Oh, wait, I just read that. I just didn't read your name. Oh, wait. 2 people asked that. Yes, I think I will. We'll have to make him in the videos. I've asked him to be before. He even, if I take out my camera to take photos, he's just like, please don't. I have to promise that it's not going on social media. He doesn't like when I post his photos on social media because then all his friends at work that see it, he doesn't really use Facebook much. So if I tag him in something, he doesn't see it. But the next day he goes to work and all his friends are like, oh, I saw that photo of you. And for some reason it bugs him. I don't know. He's a guy. He's weird. I'm just going to go with the guys are weird. But yeah, I'm going to tell him he has to be in the video so people know that he's not like my make-believe husband, that he really is there. But we are at 10 o'clock. My back is not happy with me. I think I slept wrong on it last night. I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for joining. It really is fun. Oh, look, my phone's charged. What perfect timing. Phone's charged at the same time that the thing ends. I should have been done charging a long time ago, though. Anyway, Thank you for joining. I'm tired. I'm going to go take a break and watch the fish. I will see you guys next week. I'm considering seriously doing a digital painting, working on something digital for my next piece. My very next piece. So if I do that, the cool thing about that is even if you're not interested in digital painting, there's going to be a lot where you can kind of see. I'm going to show you how I use the color matching tool where you can more easily see what that color is on the color wheel. So it's really helpful, I think, as far as that goes. So that's either next week or very, very soon. Probably next week. I don't know. We'll see how everything else goes. But thank you again for joining. Thank you to the moderators. Make sure to check out their channels and subscribe to them as a thank you. Especially, they've both been uploading some cool stuff. So anyway, again, done. I'm done. I'm rambling. Good night, guys.